following program has been rated GE. It is therefore suitable for general viewing.
Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Farm Kenya show right here on KTN. My name is Noah Kipkemboi, and as the world prepares to celebrate International Youth Day, it is very interesting when we look in the agricultural sector. When you look at the population, our country is fairly young. 19 years on average, that is our median age. But when you look at the farming systems, especially at the production level, food production, 60% is the average age of a farmer in this country. Hopefully it's gone down because some of these statistics also, they were collected a few years back. But the big question is, why are young people not flooding the agricultural ecosystem, the whole value chain? We call it agri-business. Make money, create employment in that space. Those are the questions that we'll be answering on today's show. And of course, I have Wairimu Mushai, Head of Business Development at Aqua Hub Kenya. Thank you very much, Wairimu, for making time to speak to us. And also we have Njogu Anthony, who is an agronomist and also founder of Kilimambogo Organic Growers. Thank you very much also for making time to speak to us, even as we prepare to celebrate, International Youth Day. I hope you guys are youth. These days people do skincare and they look younger than youth. Both of you are youth, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to get your perspective since you guys are already in the value chain when you talk about agribusiness and what needs to happen. So, but before we do that, I'd like us to take a look at Farmer of the Day. And since we are preparing to celebrate our young people across the country, we saw it right to speak to them as our Farmers of the Day. And they give us their insights in regards to the challenges they have experienced when it comes to farming, the rewards that they have reaped when it comes to farming in this country, and the future that they see in the agribusiness value chain. Let's take a look at Farmer of the Day.
Advice naweza kupea kama wewe sasa, ukitaka kuanza brooding, soma kwanza, tembea kwa wale wenye wamefanya, usijambo tu kwa hiyo kazi, sababu sasa hiyo sio rahisi. So wewe soma kwanza. Kuna information mingi sana, utaweza enda Facebook. Kuna hao watu hatcheries kubwa huwa wanakaribisha watu, wanaitianga watu hiyo masomo, na sana zinakuwa free. So usikose, enda hiyo. Hapo utagain venye utachunga hizi. Na pia unaweza tazama Farm Kenya KTN. So hiyo pia sana hapo kuna masomo sana ya kuku. So unaweza angalia pia, utapata knowledge pia hapo.
Anything that you choose to be a lifeline must come from passion. So these farming started way back with my father back in Kenya, Nyeri, when I was in primary school. So high school was still practicing some little bit of farming. Then I went straight to college to study agriculture. So I studied general agriculture. And when now you study, you have to choose. When you study general agriculture, you have to choose your path, either in animal production or crop production or extension. So I went to crop production and I chose one crop. I chose strawberries.
It is better somebody when you decide to start something. Just start small, but think big. Yes. That one will help you. That, just like my case, I started in a very small way, but currently I'm a large scaler in Kenya, and also that's how I'm able to even get the external market. But don't lose hope. This business has so many challenges, but don't lose hope, even if any kind of challenge comes on your way. Yeah.
So we are growing peppers, so hohos. And after losing a whole greenhouse and realizing and doing a root cause analysis, we realized that it was all because of diseases. I was talking to a friend of mine who is an IT specialist. And after telling him after the loss, because it was a very painful loss, considering peppers are very expensive to plant and harvest. So afterwards, my friend in technology told me, I think you need to seek this solution using AI. And at the first, I was a bit skeptical because I was like, how can technology diagnose what's wrong in the farm? And thinking about the informalness of farming, it was something that I was not sure of. But then after testing, after doing first test, second test, I realized that this is an idea that we can actually even build on.
Ukitaka kufaulu kwa ukulima, kuwa na mtaalamu. Huyo ndio agronomist. So kitu ya kwanza, anakuja anabeba mchanga yako. Ndio ajue nini inasumbua mchanga ama either kuna bakteria yote. So kutoka hapo itakuwa jani mzuri juu umeshikana na mtu akona amesomea hii mambo. So inakuwa rahisi kwako kujua ni mti gani inaweza fanya kwako, nini inaisumbua, hivyo unatumia nini ndio hiyo mti akileta kwako make sure imeshika na itakupea mazao ya trust.
Ningependa kuambia vijana wenzangu, maisha ya siku hizi ni kujituma. Hakuna haja kwenda kutafuta kazi na kazi yenyewe iko hapa kwa mchanga. Agriculture is everything. Hata kama hizi fanya kazi ya dairy, anaweza fanya kingine na itamudu kimaisha. Anza tu kidogo na utafaulu. Hata kama sio maziwa, mbolea iko na pesa. Najua kutengeneza mbolea yenye iko na nutrients yote. Na ninakuwa nafundisha watu na ninapata pesa.
Tuseme hii ni kama tu self employment juu huku nje hakuna kazi. So niliona ni heri nijiajiri juu at my home saa hii I'm like the breadwinner. So nikisema nianze kung'ang'ana na kazi huku nje nitakuwa ni kama na waste time ya. Na nimeona kuna opportunity hapa. So niliamua ni venture into farming ndio nikete for the needs of my young ones. Juu currently niko na 2 cousins na my young one for my sister. So bado wote wananitegemea na nikisema nilegeze kamba utapata shule wajaenda, wajapata kitu ya kula jioni. So inabidi nitie bidii. Tuseme kama NGO ama government walete more knowledge, yani walete more trainings for youths ndio wapate hii knowledge wajue ukulima inalipa.
You'll get trainees coming all the way from as far as Turkana. We equip them with the skills and the knowledge. So you find that those trainees will either get employed or they'll go out there and employ themselves.
Wakiweza kupewa hiyo skills, the knowledge na kupewa tuseme hiyo startup, ndio maana nasema hiyo startup juu naona vijana wengi sasa ni pesa hawana pale ama unajua unaweza kuwa you have the knowledge na una the startup capital. Lakini unaweza kuwa na startup capital but you don't have the knowledge. So wakikuwa na hiyo knowledge na pia wapate hiyo pesa ya kujianzisha naona wanaweza songa mbele vizuri sana.
Njaa imepungua, sasa sina njaa. Watoto naye hawakosa nguo, hawakosi school fees. Na pia niambie tu. Na nilie hizo zote, cake, hiyo mkate. Yote sasa hakuna shida.
Indeed, our Farmers of the Week. I just rebranded the whole segment to Farmer of the Day. Quite interesting. But it's very interesting when you listen to the young men and women in the agricultural sector and the encouragement and the tips that they are sharing in regards to how you can start off, how to sustain production, and how to grow at the end of the day. And today I have 2 wonderful youth. Just to remind you, Iremu Mushai, Head of Business Development at Aqua Hub Kenya, and also Njogu Anthony, agronomist, founder of Kilimambogo Organic Growers. So starting with you, Iremu, I mean, when you talk about youth and farming, you guys operate from Aqua Hub Kenya. Briefly tell us, what do you guys do at Aqua Hub Kenya, even before you contextualize it to young people?
My name is Iremu Mushai. I'm the Head of Business Development at Aqua Hub Kenya,
where we work with farmers across Kenya, dealing with irrigation systems, greenhouses, and solar dryers. That is, we help from getting increase in your production, and also we help in post-harvest losses, because so many people lose products when they harvest. So we give them a whole value chain from production to reducing the post-harvest losses.
Definitely, and post-harvest losses is quite a huge challenge in this country. I'm glad there is innovation in that space. I was chatting in Anthony just prior, before we started the show, and I was telling you that Kilimambogo, we know it as a place where we come and do hikes. There's a Kilimambogo hill right there, which are very interesting to hike with. But you are located around there, but you are also a trained agronomist?
Yeah, I am a trained agronomist. Also, it beside being my career by passion is also by profession. I have studied sustainable ecological agriculture, narrowing down to ecological farming. That is more of agroecology. Yeah, and this integrates the whole system of life. That's why we go agroecology, without leaving any other form of life outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holistic.
It's holistic.
Definitely.
Holistic way of farming. Also, some people call it farming God's way, because we preserve the whole natural ecosystem.
Okay. You guys are doing farming in an ungodly way, you know. Agroecology is the God's way. but from your observation, how much interest are young people taking in agriculture? Just by observation, from where you stand.
By observation, I've been in the space for 9 years, in the agriculture space, and comparing it to the last 5 years, right now we have an increase in the uptake of youths joining agriculture, because we've broken the monotony of just production, and we've gotten into other value chains like logistics, cold chains, also in other value addition areas. So right now there is an increase, because often when people refer youth in agriculture, they check the bracket of 20 years to 25 years, who most of them are not very serious in farming. But when we get to the age bracket of 26 years to 35 years, we see people who are diverse, ranging from production, we get into logistics, we get into different value chains, and this is where most of them are in at the moment, not the production level.
Okay, definitely. The sector is quite accommodative. And Anthony, for you at Kilimambogo, rather, organic growers, you deal with a lot of farmers. You say you're dealing with almost, is it 60, 80 farmers?
Yeah, approximately 60.
Approximately 60 farmers. What percentage of this 60 will you consider are youthful?
Now that's where a bit of the challenge comes in. When you go to the local communities, you'll find most of the farmers, as you had said earlier, you'll find them beyond 60. But I'm proud to say that the uptake is good, and we find we can talk of up to 20%. I started working with the farmers from the year 2022, and up to now, the year 2022 and 2023, they were all women, and women plus 60.
Okay.
But since last year, 2024, and this year, I can confirm that the groups have adopted some more youth.
Okay.
So I can see an uptake of up to 20%.
Okay.
Since 2022 and now, yeah.
Definitely. That is inversely proportional to the youth representation in the country. Mshai, I mean, what does that say? There seems to be a barrier here. And at least you work across the whole value chain. You're saying young people are taking interest in different spaces. There is technology in agriculture. You don't have to be a farmer. Do you think when we are assessing youth participation is a little bit skewed, leaning heavily towards the production, being at the farm level instead of looking at the whole value chain?
I would say that, you see, first, most youths are not in the production space because of the land issues. Maybe the dad is afraid of giving this young person the land. He thinks, or the parents think, that the young person might sell the land. So you find most of them don't have access to land. So that becomes a big barrier for them to be in the production. And that's why we are having innovative ways of these young people joining the space, like coming up with solar-powered cold rooms that they hire out, like having them getting a solar dryer. We have one in Murang'a, a youth in Murang'a, who rents out their solar dryer to the neighboring communities to dry their products. Then we find others are in the logistics, bringing products from the market to the farm. Not that they own the trucks, but they have a system where they are able to work closely with people having the trucks. They go aggregate the products, talk to these guys, they pay a certain price, bring them to the market. So that is where, away from the production where they have the land issue barriers, they are able to break into other spaces. But we still have a big issue in skill gap, in the knowledge gap, that they are not able to have the right knowledge to be able to be in these different value chains.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knowledge gap to be able to be in different value chains. I want to go back to the production, Anthony, because whether we like it or not, the back falls with production.
Sure.
That is what is the foundation of the whole value chain. And we need to sort of encourage young people to come into that space. So with challenges like land ownership, where young people don't have access to these resources, I mean, it is more leaning towards the older people in the community. How do we change that narrative to see more young people come into the production side of agriculture?
Wow, that is amazing. I personally, we deal in production, and we don't have family land. So I'm a young person. I don't own land, but I'm into a production space. We are leasing land. Youth can venture into leasing. We have people with huge tracts of land, and they don't utilize the whole land. So the youth can look for such opportunities where they can lease, and they also consider some aspect like the availability of water, and maybe also the closeness to markets. But the primary thing, we should change the notion that we are limited to farming because of land rights. Yeah, it is an issue, and a very big issue. But we can move a step further and lease, and we'll get into production as young people.
Okay.
And we at Kilimambogo Organic Growers, yeah, we can testify that. We are 3 young people doing it away from home, without our own land, leasing into production, yeah.
I remember when the virtual spaces were coming in, people were buying land in virtual reality, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
This is quite interesting. I don't know how that will boost agriculture, but but I'm glad you guys are listening. Listening comes with a little bit of challenges, Mushai. I've heard of sometimes you lease land, you put up a business. Some friends, I think a friend of mine was telling me, I leased land, I put up a nguruwe business, yeah, and I give the owner ideas, you know. And next time they're breaking the lease, so you have to have your paperwork right. But Mushai, from your observation, this aspect of leasing and having more young people come at the production level or segment of agriculture, how do we do it effectively?
How to do it effectively? You see, in Kenya, we have like community-owned lands and we have individual-owned lands. So there is a challenge when it comes to, for instance, areas that are very productive and where people want to lease land. Like for instance, in Kajiado oftenly, and it's wide, you find the land is community-owned. So there are these legal ways that you need the right paperwork. But you see some of the communities you're going to lease the land from, they are not well versed with this thing. When you tell them, let's write down, I need to have all the paperwork, you find the challenge of, they say like, no, it's like you want to take my land. We've had an instance of one of our clients who, the person they were leasing land from thought they were taking away their land because they requested to have everything checked out, whether the land is theirs legally, and also if it's community land, we need to know who do we talk to be able to follow the right procedures. And you find these legal issues between community land acts and individual, we have a disparity in it, and it brings a lot of challenges to the people who want to lease the land.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you should have your paperwork right.
Sure.
Anthony, have you been beaten before when it comes to trying to list land? You know, people have stories for days. Oh, I got into depression because you list land. Sometimes you find it's a dubious deal. Maybe the land is fertile, there is availability of water, but there is just no enabling environment around. Is it something that that a lot of young farmers coming into leasing experience?
Yeah, sure. Also, leasing comes also with its own challenges. And one of the challenges, you'll find maybe most of the young people will go into leasing targeting one season or 1 year. And they'll go with the mindset, let's try this year, we see whether it will be productive. If it does not, then next year we are out. And it happens. Giving a very good example with ourselves, we first leased last year, and come the end of the year, we had made 0 profit. But then you have to renew the lease again the following year. So you'll need now to go back to the drawing board, see where to get this money to lease the land again this year. Also, not very sure whether it will be productive, especially again coming to our farming system, organic farming system. You might go and lease a land that is that has been for a very long time in a conventional farming system. That means that that land will require a lot of effort to bring it back to organic.
Okay.
And leasing a land for 1 year, you cannot make it organic with 1 year or 2 years. Technically, to convert a land to organic, it takes at least 3 years for conversion period. So that will mean if you want to go the organic way, then you'll have to lease up to 5 years for you now to enjoy the organic benefits. So those are some of the challenges that comes with this farming system. You might put your investment maybe 500,000, 300,000 for 1 year, expecting to have a profit. Then the end of the year, you have gotten 0 profit. Then the landowner needs the token for next year.
Oh.
So you might find yourself burning up and going back home.
Yeah, that can be crazy and also very discouraging for young farmers. Do we see that a lot? Because also availability of capital, and we'll go deeper into this in regards to how we can leverage the financial systems to have more capital power. But do you see some of this? You enter something, you're burnt, and you step away. Is it something that is common from the hub, from your observation?
Yes, it's very common, where we've done greenhouses for clients, and the clients does 1 season, and then they leave it. First, you know, also people get into farming from stories they watch. They visited a farm. You know, when you visit my farm, I'll show you the success part of it. I will not show you the failures. And so when you leave my farm, will be, I really want to put my money into this project. And when the clients put up money in that first project, they don't get the returns they were expecting. So that keeps them off. So oftenly we have the challenge of, you get information, but it's limited information. So when you're getting into production, you're producing fast, not knowing where you're selling. And you see, I say agriculture is where you know where you're selling first before you get into the production. And so when you come and learn without getting the ABCs of when you start production to the last time where you get it into the market, you're not able to achieve what you wanted, like make enough profits. And this is a setback to so many farmers.
I see that. Kina Anthony. We come to your farm, you show us the green part, but the one that that is not as green, you put a fence right there. So getting the whole story, I think, is very, very critical. Right now, Farm Kenya, we take a short break right here at the Farm Kenya show. Remember, we have Wairimu Mushai, Head of Business Development at Aqua Hub Kenya, and Njogu Anthony, who's an agronomist and also founder of Kilimambogo Organic Growers. Keep it right here because youth are taking over agriculture.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
We are producing leather accessory products using leather that we source locally. So we produce things like belts, we produce shoes, we produce bags, we produce wallets, passport holders, anything that we can play around using leather to produce a product. We always are good to go to test it around, and at the end of the day we see what comes out of the initial thing, which was leather when you were beginning. You can be having an idea, but your idea is not what clients are looking for. You have to be able to look at everything that you're making, look at it from the point of what is the client saying. Once you are able to figure out what the clients want and you deliver what they want, then you'll be able to sell.
Steal the show with versatile, oriental and elegantile steel roofing tiles. Backed by a genuine warranty only from Mabati Rolling Mills. Visit a dealership or call us today at 0788 202020.
Download the I&M Bank app now or visit any I&M Bank branch and open your account today.
Nestled between the Nzoia River and the slopes of Mount Elgon, Trans Nzoia County is Kenya's agricultural heartbeat, a land so fertile it has earned the title, the breadbasket of the nation.
We decided as a county government we're going to provide free seed. Not subsidized, just free. We buy and distribute to the farmers. And you can see the transformation this has had. Our production has increased. I can confidence that we have got food security in Tanzania.
Mwaka huu mahindi hii ambayo hii variety tulipewa na gavana 6213. Nikipanda hii mahindi ninatarajianga mavuno kama nimeweka mbolea ile nzuri, huwa ninavuna mahindi gunia 35 and above.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Welcome back to the Farm Kenya show. And our discussion today is touching on young people. Remember, the International Youth Day is marked every 12th of August. And 12th of August is just on Tuesday, which is quite interesting. And that's why we are combining this discussion about young people and agriculture. The first part, we've looked at quite a number of challenges. One of the barriers we looked at is, when it comes to land ownership, that has been a barrier for a very long time. And we talked about leases and some of the challenges that do come from there. But another thing that a lot of young people speak about and they say it's a barrier is capital. Where do I get the money to start with? Yeah? Some people are like, if you're going into maize farming, you can just get maize and land and you're good to go, and it's not fair. Yeah? So, Anthony, talk to me about when it comes to financing. Do you feel that has been a hindrance to have more young people come into the agricultural field?
Yes, of course, that is one of the barriers limiting youth involvement in agriculture. Because as any other investment, agriculture also requires some capital, and at times huge, especially when you're talking about land leasing, when you don't have the land ownership. Lease itself comes with a cost. Also, there is other things, including inputs and the whole value chain, up to marketing. There are costs all along the value chains. And starting, I'll say that it is a challenge, and most of the youth have been calling it a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
It is a barrier.
Yeah.
But we are young people,
mm-hmm.
and at least we have seen the light, and we can prove that it is doable.
Okay.
Past the barrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wairimu, is it a barrier, as Anthony puts it? Is it a huge barrier, or it is a manageable barrier when it comes to capital?
I would say it's manageable, and also it's a risky way. If you're starting farming, I wouldn't advise a youth to start farming with money taken from a loan. One, you see, farming, we have factors that affect it, natural calamities. Sometimes you've planted, rains are not there, and you don't have the infrastructure to help you produce during the off seasons. Sometimes it's overrained, there's floods, and you started your farming with loans. So this becomes a big challenge. But if you're expanding your farm, you're already existing and you're expanding, it would be a great avenue. However, the biggest barrier is the rates at which we get our loans. They are very high. So if you're putting it if you put it into the perspective of a young person being told you've just graduated, you can go into farming. Farming is very intensive, from land leasing if you don't have, or land buying, seeds, agrochemicals and other things. It's very expensive, and also the infrastructure to help you run your farm profitably, because you're talking of agribusiness, meaning we need you to put money in your pocket. So it's advisable to take a loan when you're expanding, but not when you're starting. And maybe the way a young person can do is maybe acquire money get a loan that doesn't have high interest, maybe from friends or from your parents or from your siblings. That one could be ideal. And then if you're expanding bigger, you can get it from a financial institution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony, how did you guys finance your first lease? Or is that confidential? You wrote it in the contract with some people that were like, never release this to the public.
Not really.
Uh-huh.
We are here to guide the journey. We saw the light, and we can lead others to the light.
Yeah.
So all the young people, they start somewhere where they find an opportunity. They'll have an employment, but most of us young people, we don't look into investing where you'll look up to 3 years for you to start getting the benefits. But if we start looking beyond now, investment that can take maybe 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, that's where we start. You have your small employment, you're making your small amount, You can have an idea, you put it in paper, and have a structured budget of what you want to start with. And always, when you're starting and you do not have capital, don't start thinking of a very big farm with 100 cattle. No, you start where you can manage. Maybe with some pyramid gardens, if it is an urban farmer, something that can run maybe between 50 to 100,000. Somewhere you can sort within your friends and your family members, as Mushai had said. So I will say you can start from saving a little bit. You start small. Then from the small, that is where now you start upgrading. You started maybe with 1 pig. Then you sold it. You still have your job. You save again. You add to 2 to 3. Then the moment it starts getting productive, you're good to go. Also, we have other opportunities. We have these NGOs. They come with a lot of opportunities. Some of them, they'll train you on how to venture into agriculture. That is in knowledge, but some will also guide you on how you can secure finances. We have opportunities that come as grants. Youth can venture into grants. For us, how we started, you asked whether ours is
I
so
know, I almost
confidential.
thought like, this guy is avoiding to tell me.
No, it is
But
not.
That's
So
good.
we started with own money. We had saved from a prior engagement. Then after saving, we entered into agri-business and we started off. Then it happened what we said. The year came with 0 profits. And now we were almost to hang our boots. But then we found an opportunity through Pelham to fundraise a grant. And the opportunity came to us and we made our attempt. You know, grants don't always come 100%. In fact, the chances of winning a grant, they are maybe 1 to 2%. So it is also a challenge by itself, but also it is an opportunity. We did, and we secured a good funding to start with. Not very good, but good to start with. It has empowered us, and also we have managed to work with the communities. So despite us being seeing these challenges or barriers, zenye tumeziita financial barriers, there are still other ways to maneuver.
Okay.
Starting small, growing big, and also seeing other opportunities around. Yeah.
Definitely. Very, very important. And I'm glad you brought up Pelham. We'll come to that as we'll be finishing later on in regards to how instrumental they are in making sure that young people, you know, women, youth are involved in agriculture. You mentioned something about urban farming. And this is in regards to innovation, because young people are attracted by innovation. If there is a symposium here and you put something cool like a robot, you'll see a lot of, you know, youngsters gravitating towards that place. And it's almost similar with agriculture. There's so much coolness and sort of a revolution within our agricultural ecosystem and value chains that are sort of welcoming to young people. Shai, talk to me about some of this. Yeah, I know people grow their vegetables on their balconies and they're like, yeah, you know, I'm a farmer in Nairobi. Yeah, talk to me about some of the innovations that we're seeing.
Some of the innovations that we have around urban farming and generally farming, we have like hydroponic systems. You know, with hydroponic, you can be able to produce food even in a very small space, like even 3 square feet. Because you see, you'll just need a small tank, a tower, and the seedlings, and it's soilless. So that is one of the innovations. Greenhouses, automated greenhouses is also an innovation. You are able to just have everything on an app, check your water, check your temperatures, and the farm is running without you being there physically. We also have automated irrigation systems where we have sensors that they sense the moisture levels in the soil and it triggers all these. We also have like solar dryers where we are able to reduce post-harvest losses. All these are innovations, and you see we have them in different value chains across the food system, from the production to make your work easier. We have it in storage, cold rooms. We also have it in the drying systems, and this makes agriculture attractive to youths, that they, even if you're a primary producer, you're using systems that help you. We also have innovations. We always overlook this, but making work easier in the farm, like systems, having systems that are working, not just systems, from how you manage the people and manage the farm. It's also an innovation where most farmers are not able to achieve this.
Okay.
Yeah. And also in terms of packaging, you see when you go to the supermarket, you walk in the aisle where things are attracting you in terms of their branding and packaging. And that is also an innovation where young people can be able to check into. And also in the logistics, you see when you're doing logistics, when you brand well, it becomes your brand. And the innovation in it is how fast I, as a customer, am I able to get the produce from the farm. So the process in between here is also an innovation in itself, not generally on how we are running the farm and producing and packaging everything.
Okay, definitely. That is quite welcoming. Some of the innovations that you feel have really attracted young people into agribusiness?
Yeah, sure. I have seen a number of them, but one that most of the youth, especially the urban farmers, have ventured into is called them pyramid gardens. They have served a great deal, and I have visited a farm, a quarter piece of land, and they have installed around 50 of them, and the produce from the quarter piece of land can go more than half an acre if done well. Yeah, that is vertical gardening. We don't go horizontal, but we go vertical. Okay. You know, you can have a small space. Instead of going horizontally, you go vertical and you utilize the vertical space. Also an innovation, especially for people in urban centers. Also beekeeping, we are into beekeeping, and the last decades, people thought that beekeeping can only be done in the forest. But the recent knowledge and research has shown that it can also be done near peri-urban areas, where you have your small apiary with maybe 10 hives, and you secure it very well, and you have raised walls on how you make sure that the bees will not come and root around. You know, a bee, when it comes from the hive, it first goes up to where, okay, we assume that this is our apiary, and this is the hive. When the bee comes out of the hive, it can rotate around all here or around here. But if we have this as our fence, it will first have to go up, but then when it goes up, it will not then go down to this other side.
Okay.
It starts from the height yenye imeanzia nayo. From that height, it will now go as far up to 5 kilometers without interfering with people around. So those are some of the innovations that we can use. Tuseme nyuki lazima tuwe kwa kichaka ama kwa msitu. We can do even in our small homesteads, only that we provided that we stay safe with such innovations. Yeah.
I know. You've seen a lot of memes when somebody tells you there's this picture of somebody's tongue, and like, nauza asali. Then somebody's like, ini legit kweli. Then it's like, look at my face. That tells it all, you know. Sure. Yeah, and there is also apitherapy. Yeah, especially, I know we're in the age of mental health, yeah, sure. but bees are used in therapy. I don't know, they sting you, they kind of solve something, which is very, very interesting. I wanted to talk about policy, Mushai. Looking at our agricultural systems and policies that dictate how we do agriculture in the country, look, recently there's been a policy instruction and directive to get off some products that are, that are not very good for health. That is from the government. And we see there is so much power in policy when it comes to making sure that more young people are coming into the agricultural value chain. Is there room for policy maneuver to sort of encourage youth to uptake agriculture and agribusiness?
At the moment, I would say our policies are right we have the right policies, but when it comes to monitoring and evaluation on how effective they have been, there is a big gap. So like now we had the directive of where we need to do away with the pesticides that are harmful to both people and our environments. But yes, it was said. Have there been a follow-up to see how it's effective it's being followed? You see, we have a big gap. Apparently, I think in our country we have some of the very best policies, although some we still have gaps that we need to look into, especially when it comes to putting the youth perspective into the picture. But also the biggest gaps comes in how we are enforcing them to the people who are supposed to check out, and also in the monitoring and evaluation on how effective have we been able to put these policies into place.
Okay.
Like recently we had the second agroecology symposium, and they talked, it was the second year in after the adoption of the national agroecology policy. At least with that, we've seen several counties taking up and putting it in their counties and following up on how best they can be able to put into place the national agroecology policies in the county levels. But when we come to the big policies, that is the national policies, you find we have now the disparity on how they're enforced, because agriculture, I think, is default, and you find it's not being followed to the latter. And putting the youth voice into it, you find many youths don't know which policies exist. Maybe it's our ignorance to follow up, but also we don't have it being voiced up that we have this this policy, and this is the aspect about it when it comes to youth in farming or youth in agriculture. So we have such a big disparity on monitoring and evaluation and checking out on how we roll out these policies to reach the grassroots levels.
Definitely follow up.
Yes.
It's good on paper. But kwa ground
vitu ni different.
Vitu ni different, yeah. Okay, as we finish up this conversation, our time has really gone. Anthony, earlier on you had talked about PELAM. This is Participatory Ecological Land Use Management Kenya. It's part of a larger regional network of NGOs promoting agroecological and sustainable farming among smallholder farmers in East, Central and Southern Africa. And one of PELAM's Kenya's core thematic areas is enhancing the inclusion of women and youth in agroecology. They really supported you guys to be able to get a grant from that ecosystem. Talk to us about so far. Is there also follow-up to make sure that you guys don't eat the grant? You know, some people get the grant. They're like, wow, it's time to party, kupigia mwili, you know, pole. Talk to us about how you've worked with PELAM.
Yeah, sure. I started engaging with PELAM in the year 2022 when I was still in college. I remember it was 5 months away from my final exam. I got this opportunity. PELAM has a youth program called the Promoting Sustainable Agriculture and Marketing Through Youth Involvement SAMI project. It is an exchange program between Kenya and Zimbabwe. So that's where I started off with PELAM. And we started with 10 youth, 5 from Kenya and 5 from Zimbabwe. And I can tell that this approach really works. If we can talk of ways how we can involve youth into agriculture, we can maybe borrow from how PELAM are doing it. I, standing here as an example, coming from Zimbabwe, okay, we worked with farming communities here in Kenya in the year 2022, then 2023 we were exchanged to Zimbabwe, the 5 of us. Then a team from Zimbabwe was exchanged here in Kenya and worked with different PELAM Kenya member organizations. We are aware that PELAM works with member organizations. So the 5 were distributed in 5 different organizations here in Kenya, and they learned a great deal. The exchange program was for us from Kenya. We are experts in sustainable agriculture, and the other side they were experts in marketing. So we were going there with our expertise in sustainable agriculture, and at the same time we are going there to learn more on marketing. Then the team from Zimbabwe also coming here in Kenya to learn more on sustainable agriculture with their expertise, then leave us with the expertise that is marketing. So in the year 2023, we worked with farming communities there, learned what we learned, and also shared what we shared, then came back here in Kenya. And with what I had managed to save, I started, I was empowered to be a farmer. So definitely I went to the field and I did it.
Okay. That's incredible, man.
Yeah. But pesa nilikuwa nayo ilikuwa kidogo. You know, farming is something that is very tricky. You cannot go today and expect to have the profits today. So there's that waiting period. When you invest, you work, then you start now having the mazao kidogo kidogo.
Okay.
So we did it. We faced some challenges here and there. But before we decided to hang our boots, the same program, SAMI program, is supported by a Norwegian agency called NOREC. NOREC is the Norwegian agency, Norwegian Agency for Exchange Cooperation. So they work exchanging youth globally to change on knowledge, culture, and so on.
Okay.
So coming back, so lucky for us, they were starting a pilot program. They wanted to see, they have been into existence since 1963.
Okay.
So for all that time, they have involved so many youth. And they had, they noted that there's a gap. Youth go in exchange, come back home with a lot of ideas, a lot of big dreams, how we can
no
do.
money.
Yeah, but pesa ni kidogo. So they noted it as a gap and they were piloting to see how effective it can be.
Okay.
If this youth can come back with the ideas, then they are supported to implement them. How best can they do?
All right.
So we landed an opportunity, and that's how we won our grant.
That's how you won your grant.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That's a beautiful story, man.
It
we need to document that. We've documented that. Yeah. But also encouraging that young people should explore alternatives. Our time is up, and you guys have been fun to talk to. Now I'm going to look NOREC. Can I get a grant? You know.
Sure.
But thank you very much, Wairimu. Wairimu Mushai is the head of business development at Aqua Hub Kenya. Asante sana. Then we also have Njogu Anthony, agronomist, founder of Kilimambogo Organic Growers, and I'm pretty sure he speaks some Zimbabwe language. He was there for an exchange program. But that's it, even as we gear, as the whole world prepares to mark the International Youth Day come tomorrow. Young people have a space when it comes to agribusiness and agricultural value chain. However, challenges are there, but challenges are meant to be overcome. Thank you very much for staying with Farm Kenya over the past 1 hour. My name is Noakip Kimboy. Bye-bye.
Tufanye kazi pamoja